Hey folks, welcome back to Where's Walter? I'm Walter.
And I'm Rebecca.
And today we're looking at celebrity cruise lines. So we've now sailed on Celebrity 4 times now, right?
Yes.
4 times. So we've only gone on the Solstice Class. And one of the cool things about them is they have real grass up on the top decks. It's kind of cool. So we've sailed on Silhouette, the Reflection, and the Equinox twice. And all essentially the same ship, very, very similar, a few subtle differences. And we thought, so let's start with the vibe. Sailing on Celebrity. I call it, it's kind of like a European style of cruising a little bit, and I call it the white glove treatment without that stuffy attitude. You know, they treat you really, really well. They really want you to have a good time, cater to almost every whim. It's very relaxed. A very relaxed ship. There's not like a lot of activities going on. In fact, one of the things to know right off the bat is, you know, they don't have all of that thrill stuff. It's a pretty quiet, laid-back ship. I'd say it's kind of like a cross between, you know, the classic nautical ship and maybe more like a modern resort. There's like touches of both in there. What do you think, Rebecca?
And they are redoing all of the ships in that class. Some have already been redone, some are yet to be redone, and it's definitely going to get even more of that resort vibe. Yeah.
Celebrity is revolutionizing, I think they're calling it, their entire line. And one of the things you notice immediately is the ships go from white to blue. You know, if you look at the new Edge class ships, I mean, they really are a floating resort. They're absolutely gorgeous with all the touches. So expect more of that moving forward. I would say the age, certainly it's an adult ship.
Yes.
Right? There are kids on the ship. There are actually plenty
Every so often.
Yeah, especially during the holidays, you'll see more kids.
Well, and sometimes they run a kids sale free sale.
They apparently have a pretty good program. We don't have kids, so we don't know, but they apparently have a pretty good program for kids. But you're not going to see tons of kids running around like you would see on a Disney, a Royal, or a Norwegian, for sure. Mainly because they just don't have all of those. They don't have water slides. They don't have all that outdoor stuff, and they don't have all kinds of games. So it definitely skews more adult. And again, like I said, there's no major thrill attraction. So if you're looking for, water slides, flow riders, and all that stuff, this is not the ship for you. This is a good ship if you just want to be pampered, you want to relax. They got some really nice pools, and they got some really good food. Now for us, Celebrity actually has one of the nicer cabin layouts of any of the ships that we've been on. Plenty of room, first of all, lots of storage. First of all, your luggage will fit under the bed, correct? Yeah,
yes.
So they're raised up plenty, so you put your luggage under the bed. Lots of storage in the cabinets, and they got the wardrobe, they got drawers around, so you shouldn't have a problem storing your stuff, even on a 14-day cruise or even longer. I mean, you should have plenty of room. Now the bathroom, especially for just a single bathroom, which means that the toilet, shower, everything is in the same room, really well done layout.
Yeah, and definitely some of the best bathroom storage of any cabins we've stayed in.
It's really well done, maximum use of space. So bravo to whoever designed those bathrooms on the Solstice Class. The balconies are a nice size, at least on the Solstice Class. Don't know about the Edge class, but on the Solstice Class, they have a nice depth. So you don't feel like you're just stepping right into the railing. You can actually put your feet out and whatnot. Wouldn't you say, Rebecca?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously some are bigger than others, but they're, a decent size for a standard balcony stateroom.
Yeah, and we've only done balcony staterooms. We've not done interior or ocean view or any of that, so we can only speak on the balcony rooms, but they're very nice. We did actually sail Equinox before and after the Revolution, and the big change really was they put new carpet in, they changed the bedding, and they may have changed the seating. There really weren't all that many changes to the cabin. They were just really superficial. The beds are actually comfortable, at least for us. That's subject to you, but for us, the beds are very comfortable. But as Rebecca has noted, the pillows?
Not my favorite, but that's pretty standard with every cruise line hotels. They have very soft, squishy pillows.
Very soft. It's like, you lay down and
right. Which, if you sleep on your side, which both of us do, I don't find them comfortable.
Yeah, basically your head is just laying flat on the bed. You know, it's like you put 2 or 3 pillows together, but that's literally been every cruise ship we've ever been on. The cleanliness of the cabin and the room steward in particular, just you know, spotless, if you will. I mean, excellent attention by the room steward. The cabin, you know, is spotless when you walk in. They keep it spotless all day long. Even the hallways outside, extremely clean. Anything else you want to add about the room steward?
We've always had ones that have been very good about learning our names like immediately.
Yeah, I think Celebrity might be the best, other than Disney, but Celebrity, I mean, literally knows our name. They learn your likes and just really keep the place clean. Now for the pools and outdoor area, let's start with that lawn that I talked about. I mean, it really is. It's Bermuda grass up on the lawn club deck. I don't know. I'll put the number up here. I'm going to say 15. I'm going to guess it's 15, but I don't know. Whatever that graphic says, that's the deck. But it is real Bermuda grass, and it's kind of neat, you know, to be on a cruise ship out in the middle of the ocean, and you're walking around on real grass. It's not AstroTurf. And it's really nice. So they allow you to lay out on it. They play lawn games like bocce. But I will say if you play bocce with the real thing, they use these plastic balls that are full of water. It's really hard to play. And if you do one of the ones where it's the crew against the passengers, the crew almost always wins because they're used to playing with them. But it is a very neat experience up there.
And our last Equinox cruise, they had added a movie screen. So some nights you go see movies outside.
One of the big things that they added, Equinox added the cabanas on the lawn club. And they look kind of like bird cages. I'm showing you some pictures from our cruise. So the whole point of a cabana is you're getting kind of like an exclusive experience, right? You're paying for the cabana for the day. You get some perks, like usually some water, some fruit, some things like that. But the big thing is you kind of get like this private area where it's just yours. Nobody can come in unless you're part of the cabana payment or whatever you want to be. It's that area. It wasn't the case on the Equinox. I mean, Rebecca, what are your feelings about the cabanas versus like what you're expecting?
Well, first off, not even remotely close to a pool.
No, you have to go down at least, actually 2 decks. You got to go down 2 decks to get to the pool.
Yeah, and everybody can just walk by and wander by. And I mean, I guess they kind of have it set up for shade, sort of. But to me, I don't see it being worthwhile.
We don't really see the value of it because you are literally part of the lawn club. So on the Equinox, there's glass blowing going on one side. They might be showing some movies on the screen. People could be laying out in the grass right in front of you, and then people are walking by behind you because the walkways are right behind you going back to the aft of the ship where the bar is back there. So what you're paying for is literally the birdcage. And that's it. And for us, it's not really a cabana experience worth paying for. If you want that nice, casual, relaxed feel without all this traffic going by, well, then go into the solarium pool, which that leads us right into that pool. It's a gorgeous pool. One of our favorites. Yeah, definitely one of our favorite indoor pools, just because a couple of things. One, it is beautiful in there, but 2, very quiet music. Piped all day. I mean, literally very quiet, strange music sometimes. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's very, very quiet in there. They don't play any of the announcements in there unless it's like an emergency announcement or, critical thing. But all the announcements that you would hear out by the main pool, you don't hear them in the solarium.
No bands playing.
No bands playing. It's adults only. I think 16 and over, 18 and over.
So.
Yeah, 16 and over. If you want that, it's almost like getting the cabana experience without paying for the cabana, because there's even a small spa over on the side, a small cafe over on the side where you can enjoy some light snacks and things like that. And the other thing about it, it's a full-size pool, right, Rebecca? Like you can swim laps.
A cruise ship full-size pool,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can actually swim laps in the thing. It's deep enough. I want to say it's like around 4.5 feet.
4 to 5, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
so you can actually swim laps in it. It has a really fun waterfall feature on the one side, especially at night. It looks gorgeous at night when it's all lit up. So the main pools are exactly what you would expect on a cruise ship. They've got bands out there. They've got activities. They've got dancing going on. They got all kinds of stuff going on out there. DJ, and it's beautiful. I mean, it really does look like a resort when you're in there. The way the pools are set up with the big sails and things on both sides. At night, they're absolutely stunning with the way the lights are. And the pools are open till what, like 10 o'clock at night, right?
I believe so, which is later than most cruise lines.
Yeah, so if you like to swim at night, boy, I'll tell you, Celebrity's one of the only that we sail on anymore that actually still has their pools open late. I believe as late as 10 o'clock, and you'll see it's absolutely gorgeous out there at night. So one of the things that I hope that they're able to continue, it's one of my favorite things on the Celebrity ships, is the pool volleyball officers versus the guests. If you're able to partake, they actually do a whole tournament with the guests forming teams, and you have to do a whole tournament, and then the winner of the guest tournament finally gets to play the officers. And it's a lot of fun, especially if the captain partakes. I've never seen the captain play, but I've seen the captain come down and be like a cheerleader. So that's a lot of fun when the captain comes down. Now, one other thing about the pools and outdoors on Celebrity, they have the most shade of any ship that we've seen up on the top deck. Now, the retreat sun deck, that's pretty much full on sun. But they do have these interesting, like above the solarium pools outside, they have these big sails along the outside that create shade. It's still, you know, pretty much 80% sun when you're out on the pool deck, but Celebrity does do a good job of giving you the option if you want to get in the shade. There does seem to be more shade outside than many other cruise ships. Now, the food and drink has been very good on Celebrity, very consistent across the ships. I'll start with that Solarium Spa Cafe I mentioned before. This is great. If you're like us, you probably tend to have a rather large dinner, and then the next morning you're like, yeah, I should have breakfast, but I feel kind of full. So if you don't want to hit that buffet, the Solarium Spa Cafe has a really nice light breakfast. They have little bars, they have little things, and it's included. You can order some things that cost more, but they have a lot of these light snacks and light breakfast items that are out there. They have coffee, they have tea, they have juice. So if you're just looking for a light breakfast, the Solarium Spa Cafe is really, really good for a light breakfast. Now, the coffee bar and gelateria is usually really, really good. But for some reason on our last Equinox cruise, it had kind of declined a bit. The service wasn't as good at the coffee bar, and the coffee, honestly, wasn't as good as it had been on our 3 previous sails. I don't know if Celebrity changed their coffee brand or what, but it was very noticeable to me because I love my coffee, and the gelato bar was awful. We didn't even get any gelato on our last cruise just because it looked melted, it didn't look good, the sandwiches were sad, it was just not good. Normally, it's quite good. Now, we don't know what the changes are going to be in the buffet. One thing I will say is Celebrity is well set up to have crew serve from the buffet because every station actually has space. So we're not really sure how the service is going to be moving forward, but we can say that the food in the buffet has been very good. They have hand-tossed pizza. They have a pasta station where they make up the pasta for you. Breads are good. Salad bar was always very, very good. They have Indian dishes, Asian dishes.
Yeah. I think they're kind of all in the same Indian, Asian. Yeah. They have a Mexican section. They have a fresh carved meat of some sort, usually.
In the morning, they have British breakfast. They always have Indian food, and it's always very, very good.
And it's nicely set up so that each of these are kind of a different area. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go through a big, long line to get to what you want. You can just go to the section that you want.
And again, we don't know what the service exactly, how that's going to be laid out, but the buffet area is good. The one weakness, however, is the desserts. We have not had a dessert that we have liked in the buffet on any of the 3 ships.
We've had a couple things we've liked, but that may just have been because everything else was so terrible by comparison.
They look great. They look gorgeous.
Oh, they look beautiful.
They have beautiful little cakes and pastries and this, that, and the other, and then you eat them and it's like,
and the pie crust is consistently soggy. It's got soggy bottoms.
Yeah, soggy bottoms. Not good, Celebrity. You got to work on your soggy bottoms. In the main dining room, I mean, it's consistently good. Is it the best? Is it amazing? Not amazing, but it's consistently good. You know, you get what you expect. And as with any cruise line, if you're not completely satisfied with what you get, they'll bring you something else. Just order something else. Or if you want another entree, they'll bring you something else. So nothing spectacular. Now, on our last cruise, we were on Aqua class, which gave us access to the Blue restaurant. And it was actually really, really good. We had pretty much every meal in there except I think one where we went
maybe two. The first night and then the Indian special meal, which we'll get to.
Yeah, definitely. If you're in the Aqua class, go to Blue. You should definitely enjoy that. And Murano is the French restaurant. It's actually quite good. Somewhat of a limited menu. We have done that twice
I believe so.
So our very first cruise on Silhouette, we hit the Murano, really enjoyed it. And then on one of our other follow-up cruises, we didn't enjoy it quite as much because it was just the same thing. So for me, it was like, well, yeah, it's good, but I don't remember what the fees are, and they change all the time anyway. But I didn't feel that it was worth doing it again because it's just that same meal.
They did have a good cheese platter thing going around.
Cheese platter, and the lobster dish is very good. I mean, that's what I got the first time, and I don't remember what I did the second time. So it is a nice dining experience, and if you're celebrating, you know, anniversary, birthday, or something like that, it is a nice meal. You get a little more dressed up. It is French service. Our favorite restaurant on board no longer exists. It was called Cuisine. It was the original Cuisine. It was all tapas. Don't even have to talk about it because it doesn't exist anymore. It is now Les Petits Chefs at Cuisine, which we won't do. We don't see the value in it. It's just a cartoon show with a set meal, and it's a very limited menu, and we don't see the value. And we've heard such mixed reviews. Some people say the food is worth it. Other people say, well, yeah, the show was better than the food. So for us, we don't need the gimmick of the animated food. We would rather pay for a really good dining experience versus that. So for us, Les Petits Chefs, we can't give you any advice on that because we're not going to do that. And we were actually on one of the first sailings with Sushi on 5 when it was first introduced, and we enjoy it. We've actually seen the evolution of it because each time we go on, they've kind of expanded the menu a little bit, a few more things. So for us, Sushi on 5 is definitely worth the upcharge, especially if they're open for lunch. That's a great time to go.
And we did, last cruise, we did it on our first night because they were offering 30% off. So that was a great deal.
And that's one of the cool things. Every single time we've sailed on Celebrity, they've offered 30% off on the first night of specialty meals because everybody will go to the main dining room usually on the first night. So a lot of times those specialty restaurants are somewhat empty. But when you get on board, usually it's outside the buffet. They've got some sort of a station set up where they're taking reservation for dining, and they will tell you, hey, we got 30% off tonight. So if you want to go to Murano, you want to go to Tuscan Grill, you want to go to Sushi on 5, that first night, great night to do it. Tuscan Grill, look, I'm Italian. It's a decent Italian meal. It's not the best Italian meal at sea. I'll tell you, Princess actually has a better one. But it's good. I say if you want to go to Tuscan Grill, go when they're offering it at lunch. So you can sample it without paying that dinner price and see what you think.
A slightly more limited menu, but it's certainly a better deal price-wise for us.
That's pretty much true of any restaurant that you go on the ship, that if they have a lunch meal, it will be a more limited menu, but it certainly gives you a sense of, do I want to pay for this for dinner? So if there's any restaurant that you're on the fence about on any cruise ship, do I want to pay for the dinner? See if they're going to offer lunch at some point on the cruise, and then you can sample it at lunch. And so for me, Tuscan Grill is a good lunch. I don't know that I would pay for dinner there again. We had a decent experience at the Long Club Grill. Now, we went there when they first really opened up, and the vegetarian was limited, right, Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean, they'll do grilled vegetables, but I don't know, everybody does grilled vegetables. Well, yeah. But it was really good dessert, though. I will say they had a good dessert.
Yeah, they had good dessert. So it was an experience. At the time it was limited for vegetarians. I would say it might be worth doing once. See what you think. But for us, we've done it. We don't really see the need to go back to do that one again. On our last Equinox cruise, they started adding specialty dinners. So one night, Sushi on 5 was serving a special Indian dinner. And when Rebecca and I saw that, we're like, oh my gosh, we've got to get it because the Indian food is always so good up in the buffet.
And from what I understand, that only happens on longer sailings.
Yeah, they don't generally do it. So we were on a 10-night or an 11-night sail.
10 or 11.
So if you're on a longer sail, and hey, Celebrity, it does work on those longer ones. Why not maybe think about on those 7 nights, maybe one night do something. If you see those specialty meals pop up, and you might even see it before the sailing if they've already figured it out. But if you see some of those specialty meals, especially if it's an Indian dinner and you like Indian food on Celebrity is really, really good. Now let's talk about the cocktails, because I do love cocktails. And the Celebrity Solstice class, in my opinion, has the best bar at sea, at least of all the ships that we've sailed on. The world-class bar. They make craft cocktails. There's no show at all. It's not like the martini bar. It's just a couple of bartenders back there making wonderful craft cocktails that run generally, like say, $10 to $14. I think that's kind of the range.
I would say probably more 12 to 14.
Yeah, 12 to 14. And I think there might be a couple drinks higher, but they take like 5 minutes to make your drink. It's not like they rush through it. And I think they only make 10 or 12 cocktails, and that's it. We didn't even see it on our first cruise. And so on the second cruise, we discovered it. And there's like this little group of people that find it, and then you all kind of become bar buddies at the world-class bar, and you start running into each other each night. Because once you find this bar, you're like, oh my God, how did I not know about this bar? Because they have the best drinks at sea, hands down. Now the Martini Bar is an awesome show. I mean, it is amazing to see them, put all the cups together and then they pour all the martinis out. But for our money, the drinks are okay. They're
well,
not
we've
great.
only tried it once.
Yeah.
And I had a Cosmo and I hated it.
Yeah, and my martini was really, really sweet. And I'm like, if I want a martini.
Perhaps it was just bad ordering.
It could have been.
I don't know.
But, it's always so crowded in there. And it seems like that bar is more about the show than it is about the drinks themselves. And I've gotten to the point now where I want a good cocktail. When I pay for a drink, I don't want to just go, this is okay. I want it to be good. So I will pay $12, $14, $15 to get a really, really good cocktail. So the Martini Bar, definitely a lot of fun. And you should go in there and watch the show. Try them for yourself. You may find, if you like sweeter drinks, you're going to find some in there that you really like. Now the pool bars on Celebrity have this really annoying habit, especially if you buy a frozen drink, where they'll make that whole frozen drink and then they top it off with like an inch of rum or an inch of whatever that alcohol is for the drink instead of blending it in. And so to me, that kind of ruins the drink. And then you're trying to like mix it in. It's like, I want the rum in the drink. I don't want it just sitting on the very, very top. And I thought it was maybe just one ship that did it. No, every ship has done it. Every pool bar has done it. So that's the only knock.
And the bar at the back of the ship, the Sunset Bar. That's
if you order from any bar outside and you order a frozen drink, they will pretty much put an inch of whatever the alcohol is up on the top rather than blending it in. So that's kind of annoying. In terms of the bars up on the decks, the best bar that I've found is the one in the aft. Usually it's called the Sunset Bar. But that one usually has the better bartenders. The ones at the pool, they got to turn them out quick. So they're just cranking out these drinks, and they're very, very inconsistent, in my opinion. The guys in the aft bar, again, usually Sunset Bar, they're usually a little bit better. So if you're looking for drinks up on the deck, go to the very back of the ship. So overall, if you like food and you really like your cocktails, you should enjoy Celebrity. So for activities and entertainment, well, we started off by telling you the ship is pretty quiet. Other than those pool games going on during the day, it's a pretty quiet, relaxed vibe. At night, it does get a little more exciting. But during the day, if you're looking for a quiet spot, to read, to play cards, to play games, actually the Martini Bar during the day is lots of natural light. It's a beautiful seating area. The Sky Observation Lounge up in the front of the ship is a really nice quiet spot during the day. They do play trivia in there from time to time, which is a lot of fun. And I just mentioned, the Sunset Bar area in the back of the ship. Really nice chairs up on the lawn area where you can just sit and relax. On our last cruise, they had added the movie screen on the Equinox, and so we went up there one night to watch a couple movies. It was a decent screen. The sound wasn't that great though, and you're right underneath the big stacks, so you're getting this low-level rumbling the whole time you're trying to watch the movie. So it's a decent experience.
And they had these weird floor chair sort of things that didn't
had
really
these lounger
work, and they
things.
weren't comfortable. So it was hard to get comfortably seated for a whole movie.
Yeah. It was a good idea. The execution kind of fell flat. Not nearly as good as, say, like on Princess with their movies Under the Stars. Now, Equinox is one of the ships that actually has glass blowing on it. And the first time we sailed on her, it was just a show. It was a Corning Museum glass show, usually with 3 or 4 people putting on a show of blowing glass. And it was actually really, really interesting to watch how they did it. On our latest cruise, they converted now. Hollywood Hot Glass now does a class, basically a one-on-one class. think about 30 minutes, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so 20, 30 minutes. So you will, for extra cost, you will make something with an actual glass blower. And the work you do is minimal. You blow into the pipe and you hold a couple things. They do a lot of the work for you, but you do get to pick the colors. You get to pick what you want. Rebecca and I both made a tumbler. They came out completely differently, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, because we had 2 different glass blowers helping each of us.
So, and you don't do it at the same time, just one person at a time, and they're doing it. And that's really cool if you go with a couple, so like one of you can take pictures and video and then swap off. One of the best things about Celebrity is their casino is non-smoking. Now, I know if you smoke out there, you're like, oh, what? But it's great for those of us who don't smoke, because a lot of times on these ships, the casinos are smoky. And if you want to get from one place to another place on the ship, sometimes the easiest way to do it is to go through the casino. And then you have to decide, well, am I going to walk through all the smoke or am I going to go around a different way?
Yeah, there's some cruises where we've literally gone up a deck, over the casino, down a deck.
Because it's so bad. It's just so much. It smells like an ashtray when you're walking through, and then your clothes smell like an ashtray when you come out on the other side. So celebrities know that Celebrity Casino, if you're going to go play, or if you just want to use it as a walkthrough, it's non-smoking. Now, the original shows, first of all, I'm going to say, the performers are amazing. They have great dancers, they have great singers, they're really, really good. It's the show itself. We have not, now, we know that there are people out there on the boards and the forums who do like the original Celebrity shows. And again, we're just talking Solstice Class shows. Those are the ones we've seen. Elysium, Max. The shows themselves are just, for us, are just not good. They're overthought. We're on a cruise ship. We just want to be entertained for 45 minutes, have a good time, hear some good songs, see some good acts. And they seem to have taken it to where, like, they want to go to that Cirque du Soleil style or some big over dramatic show. And for us, they just don't work.
And we like Cirque du Soleil, but they're just weird for us.
It's just weird. And to me, it's almost like somebody went and saw Cirque du Soleil and went, I can do that. No, you can't. Now, the musicians and bands around the ship, they're really, really good. And the house band, the orchestra for the theater, really, really good on every single ship we've been on. But even just around the ship, at the Sunset Bar, they'll have people playing. Sometimes they'll have a band playing out by the pool. Really, really good musicians on ship. And all of this is personal taste, obviously. I don't know what you guys like, but for us, the original shows fall flat, but we do enjoy all the musicians around the ship. So if that chilled, relaxed experience is what you're looking for on board, where the crew treats you right, you get really good food, great cocktails, and some fun entertainment, beautiful pools, then Celebrity Cruise Line should definitely be on your radar. Now here's another video I think you're going to like. YouTube thinks you're going to like this one over here. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to the channel. Rebecca and I are having a great time bringing you all of this advice. I'm making cocktails. We're making some recipes together as well. So thanks for watching. I'm Walter.
I'm Rebecca.
We'll see you next time.